Hello and welcome back to my channel. Now, what I want to talk about straight away is the command arms accessory. This. Now this is a company that has what's known as the Airsoft division that make basically polymer parts for any type of airsoft pistol and attachments for certain rifles, from what I understand. I think their gear is unbelievable. I follow them on Instagram and I watch them on YouTube, and I'm quite impressed with a lot of their gear. And I've watched some YouTubers run down the stuff, but I mean, I'm not being cruel to those who have run it down. It is polymer, and there's no, I don't know what you want to put it. You pay for what you get. I think a lot of you are used to that saying now. Must have been about 4 or 5 months ago. I was in Dublin working, and I came across Just BBs, which is in Dublin, Just BB guns, and I seen they had a bit of a deal on one of these. Now this is one for my M9, which is over there, and I'm going to say I have tried my hardest to try and get my hands on the automatic version of the M9. I've had some comments when I did the video there of people trying to put me in direction of where I can find one. I've gone on the forums and asked, does anyone want to sell me one second hand, but I've just struggled to get them in the end. So in the end, I've been forced basically to do this because I've got more gear coming in, and I've got some more rifles being loaned to me and equipment, and I just didn't want to keep putting this off. So let's look at it. It's all polymer, okay? And all you get, there's the box, because I know a lot of you like boxes, and all you get is, that is your charging handle, which I'll show you how that works in a bit, and you get these small little other plastic attachments depending on the type of M9 that you purchase. Now I've got the M9 navy one, the tan one as I call it. A video, I'll give you a bit of an icon up there so you can have a look, and if you want to go back. So I won't go on too much about the airsoft pistol because I want to concentrate on this. Now I absolutely love this, I've already said that, and I can't help it. You've got your adjustable stock, okay? You've got your cheek riser, and it is all very, very, let's just say, easy to operate, and it is very sturdy. Starting at the back, you've got your buttstock. It is very, very sturdy, which I think is very important, okay? Because you could use this if you've got the automatic version of the M9 in CQB. I have no problem. Extended magazine, I think it would look cool. You've got your magazine holder at the back. Now, this hasn't been used a lot. This is a bit like wall candy, as someone called it to me the other day. I haven't used it a lot at the moment until I'm trying to on the lookout for the M9 automatic. You've got a spare magazine holder that clicks in the back. I'll show you that later on. You've got all your connections, your bolts, your pins and things like that. This is obviously the area of where your charging handle, which comes here. Okay, and all in the box, you don't really get much. You actually get a QR code that links you through to the manuals and things like that, which I have checked out, okay? You obviously have your fake ejection port. And what else we got? You've got top rail. This is quite cool. You've got your little flick up iron sights, okay? And something about them I will say, they are quite good actually. I'm not just saying that. I'll kit it out as always, because I know I usually get requests of people saying, can I kit it out what it look like a bit differently? Okay, going to the front, you've got all your rails. I think this is quite impressive. You get your 2 sets of rails on the front and the top, and you've got this, which is your foregrip. So overall, it has got everything. At the top, you have your flash eliminator. Now, I don't think, unless someone can correct me, and I'd appreciate if they would, you could put a suppressor on there. But I think that looks quite mean as it is. If you look at it, it's quite mean, isn't it? You know what I mean? The foregrip actually has a little loop here that actually comes in handy. So that's it. If you look at it, that is it. It is really well put together. Has the little emblems on it, also has the engravings of the M9. It's painted, has the logo of the CAA, okay? But, I mean, they've even gone to the point of putting the size numbers on it across. So it is really good. I'm not being funny. And that's what I'm saying. I'm a collector. This caught my eye. and I wish I could see more different models, but then again I suppose I have to buy different types of pistols. But don't underestimate these guys straight away. So let's have a look at it in more detail and let's install the airsoft pistol and see what you think. So what we're going to do now is we're basically going to put the M9 into the carbine conversion unit. And we're going to see how easy or how difficult it is. Now, what I've done, I always keep this handy, because as you will see from the pins, they can be a bit resistant is the word. Now, before I start, I do certain things. Like, I always make sure I put the foregrip down, because this is quite handy. And I always ask you, if you bet one of these, is to make sure you watch the videos. I also then extend the rear butt, because that gives me access and it makes my life just a little bit more easier. Now, people do it differently, obviously. But what I do is I release the pins first. So I put my pins out there. And I'm going to be honest, you've got to wait till they click. And then hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for it to then move backwards. And there you can see, so I'm already trying to separate the unit. And there's only 2 real pins that do it. Now the front one, to me, has always been a tricky one. It's always been my little nemesis. Okay, again, I'm hoping that, yeah, it's gone through. I'm happy. Now, I've already basically released the rear, as you can see, because I've pulled this back. The front part can be a little bit tricky. I'm going to tell you that now. You've got to basically make sure, again, already being tricky. So you see, there, she's gone. Good, thank Jesus. You don't realise the stress I have trying to get this done sometimes. Now, you can see that's forward. It should have disengaged from the main pin. Now, I'm going to swap it over. Just put the screwdriver out of the way for the second, okay? So I've got this, so I'm hoping to see part of the hole there where the pin goes in, and I can see that there. And then what's supposed to happen is this is supposed to move down nice and easy. There you go. Again, it's warning me on the inside, this is only for airsoft, okay? Because I would imagine you put a live 9mm into this, you'll probably shatter it. I don't know. But anyway, you can see, if you look closely, these are clips. See these little clips here, and also over here. These are the clips that assist you with a different type of M9 you have. So these here, you get spare, okay, in the box, and they're basically for the different types of M9s that you get. So these actually click out, okay. They do when you actually fiddle with them for ages, okay. But again, you don't want them falling out, you know what I mean? And as you see with this one, this clip here, there's a little tiny indent there. Let me put that back and I'll show you why that comes from. And that basically is because of my M9 has that little indent there. You see that? That little ridge. So that will then go the same in there. And as for the rear, obviously, you've got your little, as I like to call it, dovetail, whatever you want to call it. Someone called it a dolphin tail the other day. Don't know what drugs they were on. But anyway, and that goes into there. So, the one thing you have to do before you do anything is put the charging handle in. Again, polymer. And it just clicks on top like that, see? So it just clicks on so that you can have the ambidextrous when it goes through the holes here that I showed you before. Now, you are going to see me fiddle for a second because I'm not being funny. Trying to do this with a camera to make sure you can see everything that's going on can be quite tricky, to tell you the truth. But anyway, let's see if I can do it. Okay, 50th attempt, let's see if I can get it. And as you can see how it sits, so at the back, you can see there, you got this little wing that fits into that, obviously that insert, that's the alternative or opposite on of that one, okay. Again, that little indent I showed you a second ago is fitting nicely snug to hold the pistol in more effect. Now, these here, I'm going to tell you now, these here are the 2 biggest problems, because what happens is when you try to move this up, sometimes you have a tendency to shift. Now I'm going to be very careful. I've got to also make sure that the charging handle comes through this type, and with it being polymer, you can usually lift it up a little bit and adjust it. I'm sorry if I'm blocking you. There you go. So that goes in there. Now I'm hoping I can get this right. Okay, you can feel it. You might have to adjust the pistol a little bit to try and get it all nice and snug. The front part is always, for some reason, and I don't know why, is a bit of a pain sometimes. So you've got to check it all the time, okay? I would always say to people, if you're going to do this in any form of skirmishing or anything like this, I would also make sure you do it prior prior to actually going onto the actual game. Now I'm going to push that forward a little bit, as you can see, but my biggest problem has always been the rear part. I know someone's probably screaming at the monitor now saying I'm pressing something or doing something wrong, but to tell you the truth, when I've done this off camera, everything has worked perfectly. But again, that's the joy of filming, isn't it? So again, I'm going to push that in, I think, just make that a little bit more secure there. And this here, checking that I don't damage anything. But I suppose that's what you've got to be prepared for when you try to do things live, not live recorded. I think I've got it, folks. Did you hear the click? Again, I'm going to push that pin in. I've got it. I didn't even break into a cold sweat for a change. Now, it's in. You can see it's in. You can see that it's quite sturdy, i.e. it's no real wobble, okay? And don't forget it's polymer, so the more I force it, the more I'm going to move the polymer. Okay, let me just do this, move it around so you can see from the other side. There's the ambidextrous. Bit of a, probably my fault in a context. It might be because I've got it too tight there. We'll have to see in a second. I'm going to push forward. There's no gas in it, so we'll see if that is part of it. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop it there. Make sure I sort all my gas out in my magazines. Make sure I got the BBs. Make sure the temperature's right. And then we'll just have a wee blast and we'll see what you think. So, there's the finished product. Now, as you can see here, here is that magazine that I was showing you about, the magazine holder. So as you see, it snugly sits at the back. I think you could probably put one of them extended magazines on it, but with this, with an extended magazine, would look pretty cool if you think about it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fire just a couple of BBs at my, obviously, target. I'm on my 4-meter range. I'm not going to show you the target, what it is, because let's face facts, everybody does that, okay? Now, notice what I said before, ambidextrous charging handle, okay? Nice, big, solid. You can feel that actually charge, cock, whatever you want to call it, ready. Doesn't matter what you want, okay? So, I'm just going to fire a mag at it, and you can see the movement of it. To the rear, which we always like that to the rear. Magazine smoothly comes out. New one in. Now there's different variations again. You can actually release it as normal, or you can just basically use the charging handle. What I'll do is I'll use my release. Nice and simple. So again, just a magazine, just to see, you'll see the flow of it. And to the rear. Magazine, release, tension off. That is cool. That is absolutely awesome. So, give me a second and I'll put a sight on it and I'll put a torch on it and we'll just see what you think. Does it rapidly change it in your opinion? So I've done nothing too fancy. All I have done is put a little scope on it and a little torch, because I always make the joke of, we all put torches on. Don't know, I just like them. But it is very comfortable. I'm going to keep reminding you about this, okay? This foregrip, even this little tuck here, makes it just very comfortable to hold, okay? The butt, and it'll be ideal for CQB. I'm hoping to get my hands on, like I said, an automatic M9, and then I can have some real fun with it, and extended mags as well. So, just showing you, that's all, okay? I will show you the target. Some up there with the gas, something's changed. Might be because of the temperature in here. Definitely out. Yeah, not to worry, I'll look at that later on. So there you go it. There you go it, there you go. The CAA carbine for the M9 Airsoft. Well worth a consideration. If you're a collector, it's well worth it. And plus, as you can see, it's a bit of fun. And that's what I'll keep saying to people. I buy Airsoft that looks slightly different and has that uniqueness to it and something for a bit of fun. Thank you for watching. On a separate note, over my VMP2 and my charging handle that I broke, and watch the video if you want to laugh and take the mick out of me. Thank you to Phil from Airsoft, TS Airsoft in Belfast, for reaching out and already ordering me one and giving me a discount. And like I'll always say, and I will continue to say, I will always support any company that helps anybody out or even helps me out. Thank you for watching. Stay safe what you're doing. Stay safe when you're airsofting, because it can be quite a little bit interesting when it comes to injuries. Bye for now.